can we please put our hands together yet again? And remember, AI is listening for Mr. Nitin Mittal. And just so that we can ensure that everyone knows that you are also not AI, I will leave you to the stage for the next few minutes, and then I'll join you in a bit. A huge round of applause, please, for our next speaker.
Well, thank you, Ayush, for the warm welcome. And this is Nitin Mittal. We just saw a beautiful symphony of art and science. And I'm certainly not going to claim myself to be a ballet dancer by any means, but I'll try to draw out my own symphony as it relates to the world that we live in and the age of AI. What is happening, how to think of it, what is critical, and yes, let's absolutely talk about jobs, impact, implications. So, what are we seeing in the world of AI? Let me kind of crystallize this into three simple things. First, agentic. Second, sovereign. And third, physical AI. And we actually kind of saw some part of physical AI with Dr. Moore. What is agentic? Agentic simply is sophisticated AI programs and models that have agency. What does it mean to have agency? The ability of these sophisticated programs and models to mimic and replicate human cognitive-like functions. Ability to think, ability to reason, ability to judge, and ability to act. Simple fact of intelligence, which has been the prerogative of the Homo sapien race, is now actually transcending into these sophisticated programs, models, and intelligent machines. That's what it means to have agency, and consequently, the advent of agentic AI that is absolutely propelling us into the world of more and more autonomous execution. Sovereign AI. Why is that critical? In my role as the global AI leader for Deloitte, I get the privilege of spending a lot of time with different government officials in various countries, enterprises, CEOs, board members. And a topic that has become absolutely pertinent in today's fragmented geopolitics is the topic of sovereignty. But it's not necessarily, it's absolutely not necessarily just about data. It's about sovereignty in chips, infrastructure, hardware, models, and applications. Essentially, the entire stack, all the way from chips to data centers, to models, to software, to applications of it. Why is that critical? Many countries, and enterprises for that means, are actually looking to having their own setup in their own jurisdiction and being more and more self-reliant. And it's not just reliance on the infrastructure. Frankly, it's also reliance on sovereign models. Most of the models today are from the Western world, and yes, with a lot of progress in China. But if you think of a country like India, multilingual, diverse, multitude of languages, if India does not have its own sovereign models, we lose the ability to preserve culture. We lose the ability to preserve language. And we lose the ability to serve the citizens and consumers in the language that they're aware of and resonates with them. That's why sovereignty is important, not just about data, but also about the models. And physical AI. This is absolutely expected to be a trend that plays out over the next decade. It is a trend that is showing up in factory floors, warehouses, logistical centers, transportation. It's not just about humanoid robots, those robots that are bipedal in nature. We have just created them because they are an image of ourselves. This is actually about robots that fly, robots that are undersea, robots that drive, robots that are quadruped and are mobile. It is all forms of essentially autonomous mobile devices that are showing up in our physical environment. Those three are the trends that define the age of AI today. But there are implications. And yes, let's talk about one of those implications. Implications on jobs. Agentic AI, in particular, and in the near future, physical AI, will have implications on jobs. And frankly, it could be two sides of the coin. Are there some jobs that are going to be impacted? Sure. Software engineering, customer support, coding, call center, some of those jobs are going to be impacted. If intelligence is transcending the Homo sapien race and intelligent machines are developing agency, it is inevitable that certain jobs are going to get impacted. But I have not yet come across a single job that has been lost to AI. Almost all jobs are impacted by another human being who's figured out how to be proficient with AI and applies it. Coding is a perfect example. The jobs that get impacted are the ones by another human being who uses something called vibe coding and has learned it and is proficient in it and uses it. That's what we end up seeing. But it doesn't necessarily kind of stop there. Here is what I would actually kind of provoke this group and challenge all of us. Is it the last job as we know it, or is it the birth of a new AI economy with jobs that we may not have imagined, jobs that we can imagine, jobs that can be reshaped, and jobs that require reskilling? Let's talk about what it means to be in the new AI economy. Let's take one aspect of it. For all agentic AI is capable of, and the fact that it is starting to create an abundant digital workforce that can provide more and more and more leverage to the human workforce, it requires an awful lot of computing. Where does that come from? AI data centers. Countries around the world are racing, building gigawatt data centers. There's almost 1.7 trillion in committed capex by national governments, enterprises, private equity funds, venture capital, as well as all other forms of money that is actually kind of entering this space. What happens when you set up AI data centers? Construction jobs. Jobs as it relates to managing the AI data center. Jobs as it relates to standing up that AI data center. It gives impetus to the local manufacturing ecosystem. Why? You have to supply the data center, chips, hardware, infrastructure, cables, coolant, plumbing and piping. All of that essentially has to be manufactured. More jobs. What powers the AI data centers? Energy. Investments in energy generation, investments in energy transmission, investments in energy consumption, more jobs. Take every node in that value chain, you have a multiplier effect in terms of the jobs that created. You take all the nodes in totality across the entirety of the value chain, and over time, those multipliers compound. And the compounding effect has the potential to create hundreds of millions of jobs, not displace just a couple of 10, 20, 30 million jobs. That's how we have to think of the new AI economy. The government of India has a number of programs that many of you are aware of that provide the basic structure and scaffolding for society. But the onus is on society to take it forward, to capitalize on it. Example, In the automotive sector, where India could be setting up 5G and early 6G smart corridors, as well as smart cities, for the purposes of testing, planning, simulating, testing autonomous vehicles, autonomous transportation, smart cities, smart grids. Pharmaceutical industry. You can set up biotech farms. You no longer require white lab coat scientists. What you do require is new jobs where software engineers can use vibe coding to simulate protein synthesis, can simulate DNA, can simulate cellular binding, all done in front of a computer screen. New jobs created in biotech. We can keep going on, but the key is the onus is on us to capitalize. And if I were to leave this group with one challenge, collectively for all of us, that challenge is, instead of being concerned about the impact on jobs, instead of thinking about the last job, let's actually be cognizant and let's be thoughtful about how can we be investors in AI, how can we be creators of AI, and how can we be consumers of AI. That would help the country essentially gain momentum and accelerate us towards the new AI economy.
Like I said, AI was listening. Ayush was listening as well. Nitin, should I go louder with the clapping, or are you guys going to do it for me?
Thank you.
What an absolutely fascinating chat. Now I am here to test you on AI. No, I cannot do that. I do not have the locus standi to do that. But what I want to do is understand the million-dollar question, or the billion-dollar question, or should I say the companies that you've been consulting. Some of them have multi-trillion-dollar valuations. So the multi-trillion-dollar question, is AI taking our jobs away? Is it taking my job away today?
Well, we tend to focus on basically our friends, our family, our co-workers, and our colleagues. Can some of those jobs be impacted? Yes, but that's in our consciousness. What we don't focus on is what I was kind of articulating. Everything that happens where jobs are being created in the new AI economy. Let's focus on that.
From Bangalore all the way to Cerebral Valley in San Francisco, the conversation with VCs, founders, AI experts like you has really been a polarized conversation. On one side, you have, like I said, a hope-based narrative. Then there is a fear-based perspective. It's a fine line to balance these out when it comes to AI, because like you said during your presentation, and I was taking notes, is the fact that actually an AI economy would lead to probably 500 million more jobs here in India, because we're sitting here in New Delhi at Bharat Mandapam at the NDTV World Summit. It could actually be beneficial for all of us sitting in this room. That's something I want to get out of the way right at the start.
Absolutely. And in fact, I'll be provocative over here. What could be impacted? If we perform our jobs, go home, and spend time on Instagram Reels. Yeah, we'll get impacted at some point of time. Rather, if we perform our jobs, go home, have the curiosity, and learn vibe coding, or learn how to essentially use agents, or, for that matter, build agents and become creators in the new economy, we are not going to get impacted.
Since this masterclass is also becoming a little bit of a myth buster, the conversation in the tech world has always been about AGI. Sam Altman says something, Elon Musk says something else, and then Jensen comes to India, and then he's also talking about artificial superintelligence. AGI was the first level. Now we're talking about ASI, when some of these machines that you saw on the stage actually become more competent at some of these intelligence things that he was talking about than humans themselves. Now, this is not a fear anymore. The reason I want to ask you this, Nitin, is AGI, ASI, if the right sort of controls, privacy, security, right, some of the biases are not eliminated, is it a worrisome future for all of us? Because things are moving at a lightning pace.
Well, even the steam engine was worrisome 250 years back. Yet, the steam engine, which was criticized in those times, and the criticism was, and I'll kind of use the analogy of those times, if a man And the concept in those times was kind of a man, so I will apologize to the women in the room. But the criticism was that if a man can't essentially earn his wages or whatever they earn through a hard day's labor and through sweat and tears, what value is of that man? That was the criticism of a steam engine, because it was seen as taking away the value of a person, the job that they performed, the labor that they undertook. But it was mechanical, it was human labor. AI is no different, except that it is cognitive, it's not mechanical. We have a fear anytime there is something new, anytime we have to change, anytime we have to adapt, anytime when the future could be uncertain. But if we embrace the uncertainty,
Okay.
if we design the future, not just basically fall into it through hapstance, and if we are thoughtful about what that new economy could be, fear changes into hope. And the constraints that we imagine become opportunities. And impact on jobs creates new sectors, new avenues, and new basically kind of vistas for all of us to undertake in the economic miracle that is yet to come.
You know, I appreciate that, because at the NDTV World Summit, we are discussing some of the world's most pressing problems, but we're also trying, via these conversations, to come up with some solutions. Maybe not panaceas, but solutions nevertheless. Coming back to that, now let's come to one solution out there, Nitin, because what I understand is that I should not be as worried about AI taking my job, but I should be worried about someone who understands AI or who embraces AI who might take my job away.
Yes. That is an important topic. More than basically worrying about AI, it's actually worrying about our fellow co-workers, those who may be adapting, those who may be accelerating their learning, and those who are displaying the curiosity to actually continuously improve. That is where we are going to essentially see people who don't adapt, people who are sitting back, people who may not necessarily kind of demonstrate the necessary curiosity or take the leap forward in reskilling. They could likely get displaced. No different, by the way, than any other technological revolution that took place. Yeah. With the advent of the PC, who got impacted? Typists. If they had not adapted and learned the word processor, they would have been out of jobs.
You spoke of a technology revolution. The AI revolution is what we've been talking about on all our shows here across the NDTV network. And what I want to understand from you there, Nitin, is that if we zoom into India, right over here, one concern was, and I've discussed this before when Jensen was here on his India trip as well, that India sort of, in the previous tech revolutions, took a sort of a back office-like approach.
Yeah.
How do we ensure in India that we do not become the back office of the AI revolution? We augment it, we participate, we engage, and we are enriched in the process.
So I'll maybe respond to that from the vantage point of actually spending a lot of time in different regions, countries, continents, and with probably more Fortune 500 companies than I can remember, to be honest. Here's what I would say. India has natural advantages. It has natural advantages as it relates to scale of talent. It has natural advantages as it relates to thirst, entrepreneurship, dynamism that leads to innovation. It also has natural advantages in application of technology, including AI, because of the services industry that we actually have. But the question is, how do you take advantage of those natural advantages and go to the next level? Next level may actually require large-scale reskilling, investment in R&D. Just applying frontier models, as an example, may not be sufficient. Building sovereign frontier models may also be required. And it is very likely also going to challenge us to be creators and producers of AI products, not just applying products of others.
Tell me, when we talk about sovereign AI, there have been attempts over here in India to come up with certain solutions. Do you think that we need a far more nuanced, robust approach? Maybe more involvement from the public sector? Where are we lacking? Is it a lack of leadership? Is it a lack of intent? Is it a lack of scale or talent?
I'm not necessarily sure that it's just about the public sector. At the end of the day, it may be the collaboration between public and private sector. And I think we have to sort of be cognizant of that. No one party, doesn't matter kind of how much money the government may even put in, is going to be able to solve this by itself. It has to be done in partnership. There are many advantages that the government kind of brings. Yes, it can essentially kind of access semiconductor chips. It can set up, like what India is doing, semiconductor fabrication units. It can focus on R&D. It can democratize compute. It can invite entrepreneurs to actually partake in that compute and become creators and producers of AI. But then, private sector also has to kind of step up in terms of the facilities that are created, in terms of extending the government's job skilling program, and making it available to not only their workers, but society and community at large. It also kind of requires essentially thoughtfulness in terms of what products are being designed, what products are being developed, how are you scaling those products, and where is the money kind of going? Should the money kind of be going for last mile delivery of food? Or should VCs actually be investing in physical AI, autonomous systems, next-gen transportation, or even essentially kind of how enterprises could be revolutionized through the abundance of a digital workforce and agentic products that could actually come out of India?
Nitin, what an absolute masterclass in the world of AI. The audience is smiling, they're awake, they don't need caffeine. AI has done the trick. Ladies and gentlemen, Nitin Mittal.
Thank you. Thank you.